Last year, I entered a couple of models in the Flight 19 IPMS show up in Pompano, Florida. If you've ever been to one of these shows, you know that once you put your entries into contests, yeah, you got a little bit of time to kill until the judging. So I was doing what everybody else does, and I was checking out everybody's builds and the contest entries. And I was also perusing the vendor tables and see if anything caught my eye. Then I noticed something I almost walked right past because the guy's space was so full. He had boxes stacked on top and boxes up underneath the table. Well, I kind of took a peek under the table and I saw this big military BMW motorcycle kit because, well, it caught my attention because I love motorcycles and I've been trying to branch out into military and other genres of modeling. So it was like, wow, win-win. I mean, the box looked a little worse for wear, but other than that, really nothing stood out. I think I paid like $25 for it, which I figured was pretty cool because it's a big 1/8 scale, and I love big scale stuff because of the detail. I mean, the guy even let me, open the box and look through it, and between him and I, we figured, from what we could tell, wasn't anything missing. It wasn't until I got home that I started looking into it, and I just realized that I bought a model that was roughly 50 years old. So today we're going to take a look at this Entex BMW R75 with sidecar. Now, one thing I didn't mention earlier is when I bought this kit, I'd never heard of Entex. Since joining my local IPMS chapter, I realized that there are a whole lot of model companies out there I'd never heard of, and well, Entex was one of them. So naturally, I started doing a little research, which kind of turns out to be a joke in the long run. You'll see the punchline later. One of the first things I found out was that Entex wasn't actually engineering these kits themselves. Now, I'm not 100% sure on that, but that seems to be where all the roads lead. Everything I've found points to Entex bringing in a lot of Japanese kits into the U.S. From other companies marketed under the Entex name. Now, this BMW motorcycle, for example, actually started life as a Bandai kit from Japan. Now, I also keep saying this thing is roughly 50 years old because pinning down the exact release year isn't quite as straightforward as I'd like it to be. Depending on where you look, you'll find dates ranging from the mid-70s to the end of the decade there. So with all of that out of the way, let's crack this thing open and see what $25 got me. Now, the very first thing that caught my eye is there is, at least in my opinion, there's a bunch of parts for a kit from the 70s. I mean, even look here, there's 4 more sprue trees, 3 more underneath the top one there, and all this. I mean, this thing has got a lot of detail, and I think I probably attribute a lot of that to the scale, but that's one of the reasons why I like larger scale models is because I'm a big fan of detail. Now, you've got these beautifully molded engine pieces here, and they almost look like some kind of brushed aluminum or something like that along those lines. I don't know if I'd call it chrome, but the quality is definitely comparable, if not better than some of today's manufacturers I see. As you can see for yourself, there is hardly any flashing on any of these parts. And that's letting me know that Bandai was even quality back in the day. Over here, you've got like brake lines, and I think these little springs actually go to the seats, like the saddle seats here, which are like a vinyl. Pretty cool. Now it's even got the machine gun here, which this is 2 pieces, and it looks like it might be a little pain to put together because I don't see any pins, to lock them together with. But it even looks like it's got like 3 or 4 pieces to it, like it's got an operational feed tray cover that opens on it. And if we take a look at some of the detail here, you can see on the saddlebags even, you got little buckles. And you even have little tools here for the toolbox. It's got a wrench, a screwdriver, a hammer, another wrench, some pliers. And I believe the toolbox is over here in this baggie. It's vinyl. I just keep the loose parts in that baggie. But here's another cool part is on the side of the gas tank, it even has a shifter, because this motorcycle went in reverse actually. And so that was one of the things that made it a greater asset for military use. Now, if you notice, the sidecar halves were already glued together when I bought the kit. So, you know, I checked it out, and honestly, it seems like whoever did it didn't do too terrible of a job. It's pretty smooth. I mean, there's nothing major. Might have to glue that part there. And, you know, because it's so old, I did try to maybe pull it apart because I know how glue gets over the years, but this one didn't want to budge. So I figured it's a risk I didn't want to take because I didn't want to break the sidecar. And I did see that these were already popped in here, and I'm hoping that, oh yes, ooh, they were not glued. I didn't check that before. That's great that they are hopefully they're all not glued. All right, seems like we're probably good to go then, because I would hate to try to paint that inside the tire, thank God. But as you can see, overall, this is a very detailed, very nicely engineered kit, especially you're considering is roughly 50 years old. All right, now let's go on to the directions and the decals. First off, that's a pretty nice, good chunk of paper right there still. It's durable. But this right here is just a brief history. It even says brief history. I'm not going to read it. And, you know, well, I guess my research was right after all. Right there, it says Entex Bandai military vehicles. Now, that's the joke I was talking about earlier, because I went ahead and researched everything before I ever even looked into directions. But, I mean, that's okay, because I usually turn up a few extra facts anyway, and honestly, I kind of like that part. I mean, it's fun. So, you know, right here, the instructions actually say Entex Bandai military vehicles. And I believe it has some other kits right there that it does underneath. Now, one thing I really like about these old directions is they're really just kind of easy to follow. I mean, first you got a full sprue layout with all your parts right there, what color it's molded in, so you can check on both pages. You got your clear stuff, and it tells you your other pieces down here, like your springs, a heavy coil, spring tension, blah, blah, blah. And another thing I thought was cool is right next to a bunch of the steps, you'll see they have an actual photograph of what your process is supposed to come out looking like, you know, when you're done with the steps that get up to that, which I think is very helpful. And honestly, you know, I don't remember seeing that very often, if ever, anywhere. I mean, I'm sure I have. If you guys know of a kit manufacturer that does that all the time, hey, leave it in the comments. Another cool thing is it has a little measuring tape and inches up here for your tubing and your wiring. So you're not guessing, you just lay it out there and cut it. It reminds me of the GT40 video. It had the same thing in the directions. You know, that one that hardly any of you watched. Oh, and another cool thing, the gun is like I expected or suspected, is more in one part with a feed tray cover. There's a toolbox I was telling you about, and I didn't notice this before, but it does have like a working trunk that you can put the toolbox in and all that, the spare tire and all that. That's pretty damn cool. Now, the decals have yellowed a little bit over the years, and I'm going to brush them with some microscale liquid decal film over them if I ever think about using these ones. And I'm not going to show you the decal sheet because, well, it's a World War II German motorcycle, and there are some symbols on there that, let's just say, haven't aged very well. There are plenty of other decals on there too, but because of the age of the decals, I'm not going to start sticking tape over it, trying to cover up the ones that YouTube probably wouldn't like, and I'd just rather it all not even mess with it. But, you know, another cool thing about the directions is, and obviously I'm not going to open it and show because it has all the versions right next to each other, so you'll see the bad emblems as well. But you know, it has like European battle line, African battle line, different corps markings, division markings, motorcycle infantry markings. I mean, they really put some thought into this thing. And on the box, it even shows you you can build a version of it with no sidecar that was used in the European theater. And so, you know, me, I wanted to build both. So I went and I looked on eBay to see if I could find one of these, and I did. And the funny part is that I ended up paying about 3 times as much for it as I paid for this one. So, yeah, looking back, I think I got pretty lucky for finding this under a vendor's table for 25 bucks. As a matter of fact, I got so lucky I kind of feel guilty. Let's go on and get you guys out of here. And that's the beautiful thing about models is I say I got lucky because it's lucky to me because I have interest in it. It might not be lucky to somebody else, and that's okay, because if you're into modeling and you look hard enough, you will find something that you like to do. I mean, I have seen things in Facebook groups and different pages, and I'm like, ugh. But guess what? It was built, so somebody liked it, you know, just not my style. Modeling has something for everybody. Well, if you hung around this long, I appreciate you, and this is probably your kind of thing. So won't you go ahead and do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. And to the returning subscribers, thank you as always. If you're looking for ways to help support the channel by any chance, another free way besides liking and subscribing is that there is a possibility of a hype button underneath this video. If you could go ahead and spend some of your hype points that YouTube gives you on that, it does exactly what it says it does. It hypes it up, pushes it out so more people can see it, and that ultimately helps the channel grow. And that is the most important thing that we can do. If you'd like to help a little more, I have unlocked membership tiers for YouTube. I'll leave a link for that in the description. There's 2 tiers, a $3 tier and a $4 tier. The $3 is the Bog Dweller, where you get membership polls, loyalty badges, and custom emojis. And the Swamp Ape, or Skunk Ape, not Swamp Ape, Skunk Ape is where you get all that, but then you also get a shout out to the video made after you join, and you also get early access to upcoming videos. And I also have a Patreon at patreon.com/Boggy Creek Life. Simple $3 tier a month. And what we do over there is one day at the end of the month, usually Saturday night, we get together on Zoom and we do some building and just talk about models, movies, whatever everybody feels like talking about and comes across their mind for an hour or so, whatever. I would like to apologize for the little bit of lag in between videos. At least I feel like there is a lag. Just sometimes life happens that way and other things pop up that are more important that I have to tend to first. But, you know, with all that being said, I've still got a list of videos that I want to do coming up that I'm going to go through. So until we see each other next time, be good to each other. Model on. Sit, Rocco, sit. Good dog. Roof.